Okay, so we're just going to talk briefly about how and when we add a cue. So it's really important when we're teaching our dog a behaviour, we get the action first before we add a cue to it. Because if we add a cue too soon, the cue gets associated with a poor action. Okay, so we'll take a sit, for example. Obviously, Halves knows a sit, but we'll just use it to demonstrate how we would add a cue. So to start with, we would either capture the behaviour, so when the dog offers it themselves, we would reward, or we might lure it with a piece of food. So I'm going to lure Halves into a sit. Good boy. And I'm not going to use any word or any cue to start with. I'm just going to mark and reward as soon as his bum touches the floor. So I would lure him into a sit. Yes. I'm going to mark and reward. So then I'm just going to reset him. So as he looks at the piece of food, just going to go up and over his head. As soon as that bum, yes, touches the floor, I'm going to mark and reward. Yes. Good lad. So you would practice that until you've got that behaviour and that skill really well ingrained in the dog. Then what we would do is add the cue whilst the dog's performing that action. So this time, as soon as Harvey's bum touches the floor, I'm going to add the cue sit. So again, I'm going to lure that behaviour. Sit, yes. So as soon as that bum touches the floor, that's when I add the cue. Sit, yes. So he pairs that word with the action he's doing at that point in time. Sit, yes. Good lad. One more for luck. Sit, yes. Good boy. So we've gone through capturing or luring that behaviour to start with, and it's really important we mark and reward each repetition of that behaviour. Then stage 2 is adding the cue in action. So as the dog's performing that action, we add the cue at the same time. Then this is stage 3. We can start to ask for that behaviour when we think the dog understands what the cue and the behaviour mean. So this time, I'm just going to create a bit of distance with Halves. This time I'm going to ask Harvey, sit. Yes, so Harvey knows the sit. I can ask for it, then he performs that action. Sit. Yes. Good lad. And one to finish, Halves. Sit. Yes, good boy. Good lad. Okay, so just to recap, stage 1 is capturing or luring that behaviour that your dog offers, marking and rewarding. So if it was a sit, for example, we might wait for them to sit, or we might lure them with a piece of food over their head. As soon as that behaviour happens, you mark with your marker or your clicker and reward. So we would do that over and over again until that behaviour becomes kind of ingrained in our dog. Then what we would start to do is stage 2 is we add the cue word at the same time as they're performing the action. So as we lure it or as we capture it, sit. You would add the cue at the same time as the action, mark and reward. And then stage 3, which sometimes gets rushed, and there's absolutely no rush to get to stage 3, is asking for that behaviour. So once we know the dog understands what the word and the action means, we can start to ask for it before the dog does it. Harvey, sit. Yes, good lad. Well done.